Nexus might hate me for this, but Gary Binns has transferred to Liverpool. How did we get here? Well, this was the list of offers that Corleone gave me, and either Corleone isn't the agent that gives you S-rank teams, or there is an additional requirement that my player must be 3 stars or higher to attract them. The latter is very difficult to get on a forward, and indeed Liverpool may be the best offer we get, because Chelsea and Manchester are S-rank. Nonetheless, Corleone did give us a noticeable improvement in salary offers. There's a couple more things for me to cover before the new season. Here we get introduced by Jack to Audrey, and since we're meeting her relatively late, I might not have time to explore the full event tree with her, especially since I want to focus on Sarah, but these next couple of events at least boost our ego, which is why in this interview about my transfer, I take the more deferential options to reduce my ego again. And then there's one Audrey-specific event that happens right after you meet her. You get invited to a big celebrity party, and I think this is what unlocks the ability to meet other big names like retired footballers in later outings. But there is one more event still before we get to the new season. Mary's back. She's gone and fetched the father to help her beat the big bad meanie football player. And this time, they're sending the whole house at us, but they made one fatal mistake. We're on offense, and Binns is actually quite good at offense. So, ultimately, we come out on top again, and afterwards Robson recognizes us. This is the end of the event chain, and in addition to this plot being resolved, we get a couple of special abilities for it. Shot one-on-one and acrobatic play, very nice bonuses to have in scoring situations. And with that, we can now start Season 5 proper, which starts about the same way as the last few seasons. I do relation training first and get my standard good result out of it. 2 power training sessions after that, and in between, I get a call from the national team manager. We're not actually guaranteed to be in the team this season, but I see no reason why we would be left out. This does boost our ego, however, so I don't want to train relation a second time yet. Want to wait until the manager talk in October and still be mid-table by then. That means I'm doing the speed minigame instead, and I got off to a bad start here, but I managed to get it back in the last 2 attempts. Go 2 for 5, which is better than nothing. And now we head to our first match of the season. We're making our Premier League debut against Bolton, and have a look at this team. The talent pool runs a lot deeper than PSV, and there's some real legends here. Prime Herpia, Carragher, Xabi Alonso, and the man himself, Steven Gerrard. These were some really good Liverpool teams that just had the misfortune of being in the same era as cashed-up Chelsea and Fergie's Man United. We're taking over at 0-0 with 25 minutes to try to find a winner, and I can feel that this team has a lot of potential right away. Professional hospital patient Harry Kuehl whips in a good cross, but Binns probably should have been able to do more with it than he did there. Bolton, however, were creating winning chances. We see Diouf battling through for the ball and taking a long pot, saved by Reina. Here's Borghetti a few minutes later. He gets another long pot, and this time it's turned away for a corner. You always got to worry a little bit about the corners, but we managed to jump the play, and then right after that, this is Djibril Cissé. Look at the pace he's got. This is 95 pace at work, and he's fresh too. Gets all the way to the box, doesn't quite score though. Ultimately, the game stayed 0-0, and I would have liked a better start here at Liverpool, but it's not going to hurt us either. The following week, I go give Sarah another gift, and I'm ramping up the value of these gifts. The handbag costs 300,000 euro dollars, and I'm trying to get her affection up to a really high level by the final season. We have one more speed minigame to do. This time I get off to a pretty good start, but then I start struggling and once again only go 2 for 5. Anyway, my regular training remains focused on power for now. I want to get more heading and jumping as well as strength. It also boosts my place kicking skill. I could use a little bit more of that. Sissoko comes in for a talk. He's got girlfriend trouble. As you know, the correct answer here is women are the same as the ball. I don't usually show a lot of footage from this relation minigame because usually it's supposed to be a piece of cake, but I had this perfect storm of me messing up ever so slightly and having rotten luck that resulted in me having a really bad session. I salvaged some points in the end, but for the first time in a long time I fail relation training and I'm going to have to come back to it. To add insult to injury, the following week my player decides he doesn't feel like training. Though the week after that, we get visited by this jerk who says we're rubbish, even though we're not. But if we humour him, we do have a chance of learning another new technique, and we are successful. We now have the long throw. I then switch to attack training for the next 2 weeks because our header skill will increase in both attack and power training, and I also want more shooting and passing. That brings us to November week 4, which means our European League fixture against Lyon. This is our second time encountering Lyon in this series, and much like the first time at PSV, we're going straight to extra time after a draw inside the 90. But we tend to do well in these cup games, and I have a hunch that the comm level for these is lower than the league, something that I'll elaborate on next episode. But right now, Binns is getting the ball into the box. He gets hacked down. The ref had to call a penalty there. I would love to convert my own penalty, but I would also like to win the game, so Steven Gerrard scores. And I can't remember a time yet when we've lost the lead in a cup once we gained it. Lyon should not be underestimated. Malouda got his foot to this, played through Fred, but Carson got on top of it, no problem. This was a young Carson before his confidence was destroyed by a poor showing in the English national team, so the game rates him pretty similar to Rayner. They both have an average goalkeeper rating of 84. Down to the last few minutes. I wanted to pass to Herpia here, but Arne tried Carragher. That gives Lyon one last chance to work the right flank, but Arne is able to pick up the ball again, kick it downfield, and shortly thereafter, the final whistle goes. We are going to win 1-0 and move on to the next round. Onward to December, and it's business as usual. I'm continuing to donate the maximum amount here. There's little harm in us exploring what other high publicity events we can potentially unlock. And relation training, that failure was just a one-off. This time I go perfect, and that's maxed out our relation for the rest of the season unless we take a loss. I actually decided to do speed training for a couple of weeks, and then at week 3, we get some emails and also a chance to do some more training with the manager. It's nice, but they came a week too late for me to be able to do another mini game before the winter breaks. So we're going to go see Sarah again, and since it's Christmas, she's the one giving a gift to us. We don't really need the blue wristbands, though I appreciate the gesture. Moving into January, we've got some agent-related events. First, we get approached by Vincent, and I can't remember if he's the actual best agent in the game or if Corleone is. All I know is that if you get approached by Michael, you should reject him outright because he doesn't know what he's doing. I end up turning down Vincent, and Binns does not speak on my behalf when he says he wants Robert back. I actually do want to keep Corleone. We're also at this time going to get introduced to a legendary player named Torres, and I'll be honest, this event chain is suspicious because first he's going to ask for 100,000 euro dollars, that's fine, but then he's going to come back and ask for 200,000, in this case the very next week, and there's no immediate benefit to these donations, but at the same time, we've got the money, and it's not like I was spending it on anything else anyway, so I am going to see this through. In the week in between, I took Sarah skiing, and perhaps I should have rested this week, but instead I decide to go out with Audrey. That gets my ego back firmly into the yellow, and then I decide to rest in week 3. Resting now isn't a huge loss because my motivation and therefore auto training gains are maxed out. But anyway, speed minigame again. Get off to a really good start, go 2 for 2, but then the wheels fall off and it becomes 2 for 5. We could be doing better here, but it's not terrible. What is terrible, though, is Binns refusing to train. This is the second time this has happened this season, but the manager bails us out by pulling us aside, and we get to do an extra training session, which makes up for it. I'm training attack on this month of February, and Morientes also gives us a chance to do some more training. Our motivation maxes out just in time to do one more mini-game before the next match of the season. Speed again. This is the inverse of my previous attempt. Bad start, but then the last 3 all go in. Pretty good going. I'm going to squeeze this March League game against Portsmouth into the end of the episode because I am still expecting national team duties that will extend the length of Part 10. We're going in with another tight scoreline, though we do have 10 men, so that is going to make it difficult for us to get our first league win at Liverpool. Lua gets something going for Portsmouth. A lofted ball to Prisk that beats the defence, but Rayner, sweeper keeper, able to get to it first. We get the next chance. Binns on the left wing. Morientes has plenty of space. We get it to him, but the shot is not good. We have to skip ahead a little bit later for our next chance. We go down the right this time. Finnan with a 3-header, but he too cannot find the target. Portsmouth have this 3 kick in a good position, but they don't manage to do anything with it, and that's going to be the end of the game. Not the most convincing performances so far, but we also haven't lost a game yet with Liverpool, so I remain confident that we can win at least one trophy on the next episode.